Hello, it's Rachel. Today's project is an art journal page and I'm working in a Strathmore visual journal. I've pre-gessoed the page before adding 3 different colours of paint. The first here is Dylusions Calypso Teal, then I also add some golden fluid acrylics in the colours Phthalo Blue Green and Ultramarine Violet. Next I'm going to add both some stamping and some stenciling using gesso. So first I'm using a stamp by Indigo Blu. This is a script stamp and I'm applying the gesso to the back of the stamp using a piece of Ranger cut and dry foam. After this I use some sequin waste to stencil a circle pattern onto my background. Now I'm using an additional stamp. I've chosen the eye from this set by Holtz called Oddities and I'm stamping this using archival ink in the colour magenta hue. This is a border stamp by Lost Coast Designs. I've attached it to a ruler because I don't have a stamping block long enough for this particular design. I'm using VersaFine ink in Onyx Black to stamp with and I'm stamping it onto a lightweight cardstock several times before cutting the borders down to the size that I want to use. This is a stamp set by Autumn Leaves called Snap Frame. It's an older stamp set so it might not be available anymore, but it's a very useful one and one that I use a lot. I'm stamping out my quote again onto some lightweight cardstock in VersaFine Onyx Black before cutting this out to add to my page. Now I'm going to assemble the pieces that I've stamped and cut out. I've got 3 words for my quote which says "Don't look back." I'm using some golden matte medium to make the words stand on the borders and then I add them to my page using again some golden matte medium. these are two images that I have in my stamp collection. They're both the same image but produced by two different companies, and they're two different sizes. One is from Lost Coast Designs, that is the smaller of the two, and the larger one is by Oxford Impressions. I'm stamping these using Archival ink in jet black onto my page, and then I also stamp them onto some lightweight cardstock, and for that I use VersaFine ink in Onyx Black. After the eyeglass images have dried, I'm using some transparent yellow oxide fluid acrylic by Golden. I've diluted this a little bit and I'm going to paint over the eyes, which I later cut out and add to my page, and then after this I also paint the borders that are underneath the text on my page with the same colour. Here I'm using a Posca paint pen in black to create a border. However, later in the project I decide that the type of border that I choose here is not bold enough for the page, and you'll see that I make adjustments to this. To add some texture to my page, I'm using a stencil by Carabelle Studios with some Liquitex like modelling paste. After I've applied this, I do add some colour to it by painting over all the small circles. And to answer a question I get quite regularly as to why I don't add the paint directly to the modelling paste before applying it, it does change the consistency of modelling paste, which can make it more difficult to stencil, and you never get the true colour that you see in the jar without using a lot of paint, so it can be very wasteful as well. Now I'm starting to add some finishing touches to the page. I'm using a combination of both black and white Posca paint pens. I'm adding little dots around all the letters firstly, then I add some dots also to the lower eyelid of all the eyes. I colour in some of the circles on the borders where the text is standing. Then I change the outside page border and make that bolder with a black pen, and also add some white dots to that too. That is everything for today. I hope you enjoyed watching. I knew which quote I wanted to use at the start of this project, so that did influence my choice of the images connected to vision. If you want a full product list, you need to look in the video description for a link to that, and you will also find there a link to my Facebook Mixed Media Challenge group and also my other social media sites.